if you're not able to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe, because there are things you can do to what you currently own. Changing hemlines, changing shoes, changing jackets, small changes that can be done with a tailor to utilize what you currently have in your wardrobe. You have those core pieces in mind that you have, so now when all of you go to a tailor tomorrow to have them fitted to fit you perfectly, these are the tips I want you to keep in mind. Women, jacket sleeves should fall just below the base of your hand when your arm is straight down. So right here on your hand, this is where we want jacket sleeves falling. Most people think, you know, up here on the wrist. I want them a little longer than that. The jacket hem should never go past your full hip. So your full hip is the fullest part of your backside. So you never want your jackets to fall below that line. Pants with heels should fall 1 inch above the ground. So when you have a full length pant on, it should fall 1 inch above the ground and buckle slightly if you have heels on, right in front. Be a little buckle if it's falling the right length in the back. Generally, shirts and dresses should fall right above the knee, not right below the knee, so right above the knee. So they asked me to throw in some tips about interviewing younger. I split them up between men and women, and I like to think about not interviewing younger, but just interviewing currently. So we talked earlier about connecting with who you're interviewing with, connecting with future people who are going to be on your team, connecting with your culture. So what can you do to not be younger, but just connect with who you're making an impression on? So some tips for women. Incorporate one current trend into your ensemble. So if you want to appear approachable, some of those other brand approachable, that's actually a very good point, and that is she mentioned that she heard that women should wear a scarf, you said, that matches the company logo. Yeah. Or in men, a tie. So you're saying the colors that the company has?
The interview to seem more favorable. They're more interested
right.
in you, they don't even realize why.
So knowing the company culture, that's absolutely true and very important. Knowing the company culture and aligning. So if you're interviewing for, think of examples that I know. Ecolab blue. They kind of pride themselves on blue. Everyone wears blue suits. You should wear a blue suit to that interview. The scarf piece for women and ties. I think that there are good and bad aspects to that. For women, I personally wouldn't recommend wearing a scarf. I think that is something that can date you. I would choose a necklace. I would choose if the culture is more energetic or young or vibrant, I would choose contrasting colors for your ensemble. So wearing a light gray suit and something striking blue on the bottom, so the colors contrast. If it is a conservative environment, so if you're interviewing for a conservative environment and you know you're wearing a black suit to that interview, but you are a creative person, you're a fun-loving person, and that's really what's going to be hired for that position. The safe way to show fun-loving and creative is through your ensemble. Choose an earring that shows that. Choose a necklace that shows that. You can still do that and be professional and current and updated and appropriate for when you're interviewing. Carry a season-appropriate tote and not a briefcase. So a lot of women, especially women that we work with, have a very masculine feel to their professional ensemble. So they're wearing a suit, they're still carrying a briefcase. You can tweak that and update that a bit by carrying a tote that functions similarly to a briefcase, but doesn't look like a man's bag. No nude hose. Legs are appropriate at work. Legs are appropriate at work when they are clean and shaven and moisturized. When you want your legs covered, there are appropriate nude hose that you can wear. I have it on a slide in the future, but they're microfish types that allows a little bit of skin to still come through. So your legs are still covered, but it's an updated version to the traditional nude hose that we're used to seeing. Wear a statement necklace. I mentioned that before. A statement necklace or a statement earring, and keep everything else very simple. You do not want to match fine jewelry. So if you have a beautiful set from your husband of earrings, necklace, ring, do not wear that. You can wear the simple earrings and a statement necklace, but try not to do a matchy combination of your earring, your necklace, your pin. Men are twice as likely to make a positive first impression in a business setting. Because of the suit, yeah. It's because they tailor their clothing. So most, if all men tailor their clothing, women do not. So women should be tailoring 70 to 80% of their wardrobe. To be looking at yourself from all angles before you leave the house. Dress for the job that you want next. So many people who are currently in a position dress for the position that they have and they're going through every day. Always dress for the job you have next. Dress how your supervisor dresses or your boss dresses. The job you aspirationally hope to be into soon. Use a full-length mirror at home. Fragrance is great outside of work, especially when interviewing. You should not be wearing fragrance to an interview. One, you can be remembered by it in a negative way, and you don't want to be remembered by how you smell. You want to be remembered by your abilities and what you're able to do and how you sound and speak and look in the interview. At some point in our careers, it is best to have a custom wardrobe, to have pieces that fit you perfectly, that represent you perfectly. If you cannot do that, size up and have it fitted. Alterations are much cheaper than a custom wardrobe, but it will ensure that your clothing fits properly. So these are just a few pieces that I wanted to mention that will also help update a wardrobe. For women is seamless reversible camis. Buy them in every color and have two, and use them as foundations underneath silk blouses, knit blouses, blouses with buttons. You don't want to be able to see your bra poking through. You don't want to be able to see lace underneath a shirt. Have foundations on. Shoes. Shoes are a big way women can update their wardrobe. Pick a colored shoe that you're going to consider to be your neutral, and don't think of it as a color anymore. Think of it as something that goes with everything that you own. So pick a deep burgundy, a plum, a color that will go with all of your suits, and that's going to be your neutral, an easy way to update your wardrobe. The silhouette of the shoe on the screen should represent, doesn't have to be that high of a heel, but the almond toe and the clean line should be what your professional shoes are representing. A gold stud earring, simple, statement enough so that people can see it, but will break out of the pearls, will break out of this simple small diamond stud that you see over and over. The microfish nude hose that I mentioned earlier, the Spanx, the woman on the bottom, that's what they look like. You can still, her legs are covered, you can still see her skin through them.